Hello, Brian Scott here, Brian's Game Night. Please let's click the like and subscribe button. Um, I started doing reviews today, and I'm going to do Vampire the Masquerade Second Edition. And I'm also going to because I mean this thing's like what 40 years old, 20 years old. So I want to look back upon it and my feelings on it too. It's not just a review of the book, but also um, my looking back on it. Um, of course, I started out with playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I played it till, well, this came out, I believe, in 1990. So I had play. Well, I tell you what happened. Second edition Advanced D&D came out, and they pretty much lost me. Um, I played D&D, but I didn't necessarily play. We used a lot of the second edition stuff, but we didn't really use the second edition. And when you say, striking when it's hot, that's what's his name, Mark Rain Hagen. Yeah, Mark Rain Hagen did. Little story. He came up with the idea of this book. Him and his friends were driving through Gary, Indiana, where Michael Jackson grew up in. And if you know Gary, Indiana, it's a wasteland. It was a wasteland even back then. And they just were looking around. They're like, "Who would live here?" And Mark thought, "Vampires." And that's where it came from. And in fact, in the back of the book, there's a very small adventure set in Gary, Indiana. Like I said, striking when the poker when it was hot. This book took the role playing gaming world by storm. And also, vampires were pretty popular by this time. You have Anne Rice, she wrote a whole bunch of books. Well, actually, by this time, maybe one or two at most. But again, the 80s was the era of the vampire. So, um, when you look through this book, first off, what I like about this book, and this is something that will only happen um, when you are beginning an endeavorment. This was the second edition. The first one was a paperback, and it was of very lesser value in many, many ways. The layout, what was written in it, the rules were still kind of murky at best. This is a great improvement over the first edition. Great improvement. Um, but still had, I've said it in the last video. I'll say in this video, the combat system in this game sucks. Sucks really bad. Um, One of the really nice things about this edition, this is before all the other crap they start making, the bloat, which some was very good and some of it was really bad, was that it's simple. There are 7 clans. You got a good idea. There's some werewolves outside, so you got to stay in the cities. There's some other clans, maybe, but they mention them by name. I don't think they really talk about bloodlines in this book yet. I think that's in the player's handbook when it comes out. Um, the choice of natures and all the choices are minimum at best. Now, I will tell you some of the rules, and as I look through here later on, are murky at best, especially some of the disciplines. You're like, how does that work? But I think in many ways that's its strength because I, as the storyteller, will tell you how it works, right? Um, and again, what is there? Maybe like 10 disciplines in the whole thing, maybe 8. Uh, the Tremere are very overpowered. Anytime vampires can start fires and not be afraid of them, bad, bad decisions. Um, but you can definitely, um, house rule that. It is a and again, I have to show the actual book because I don't know how to use YouTube. Um, Again, the storyline, what's a vampire, the fact that they're descended from Cain. The art is a mixed bag. And I tell you what, the interesting thing, it came out, I believe it was 90 or 91. And this says 92. That seems very late for me. But even at 92, there's a lot of 80s in this book. All right. Um, the the descriptions of the clans are all very new. You know, I was thinking this the other day. Uh, you look at something like the Malkavian clan. Now, the beauty of this is that it's very direct to the point. They're going to tell you something about the clan, very minimal. Everything, the background, everything, very minimal. And I like that. I just did a review of the 20th anniversary, and each clan layout is like a treaty or a thesis on the clan. So now, if I'm making a character, I got a lot to really think about. Not with this. You're Malkavian, you're crazy. Go with it. This is the beauty of this book. Again, if I was going to run Vampire, I would probably run with this edition and this book only. As a storyteller, I have all the other stuff to work with when I want to introduce it. But for the players, yeah, you're using this book. Again, with some kind of, I don't know exactly, I still haven't really come up. Put it down below if you think of an idea what to do for combat to make it so you don't have to roll like 4 times every time you try to hit something or be hit by something. Um, I cannot tell you though. I think I played this. I ran more like I ran this game on and off for the next 10 years or something. In fact, it didn't stop until third edition D&D came out, and by that time, I was ready for something else. So I went back to D&D when third edition came out, and it's so funny. This was such a rules, more like more or less rule light game, and definitely than third edition. So it's just so interesting how you switch gears, right? Um, anyway, I believe I don't know. Actually, you know what? I don't think you can get this print on demand yet. That's really sad. If you can, let me see if I can find this out for you guys real quick. Drive through. But anyway, if you can't get this print on demand, otherwise you're going to have to look up on eBay if you want the. Yeah, I can't find it. Anyway, if you want to look up on eBay, it's still relatively inexpensive. You can find it. Definitely, you can buy the PDF, of course. Well, inexpensive. I think it's $10, something like that. Um, and if it's not on trend, man, that's a damn shame. Damn shame. All these RPG companies are being stingy about doing print on demand. You know, try to make some money, guys. But anyway, and I even love the little flower. The rose on here is a fake flower. Actually, no. I think actually this one might actually be real. But later on, they have fake rose. One of them has a fake rose on it. Vampire the Masquerade Second Edition. I strongly recommend using this in game. Again, it's going to have a lot of text to it, but you know, and that's if you can actually run a game nowadays. I don't know. This was also another issue I have with vampire. Now that we're talking vampire, um, with after 9/11 and everything else that's happened in the real world, this seems kind of quaint at times, right? You're playing vampires. And I was thinking about this during the COVID era where we were going, you know, if we're all shelter into our homes, what's a vampire to do? I think maybe that would make I think get a few more years off of it. You can probably make an interesting game out of it. I don't know. It's very hard playing or running this game, definitely running this game, when the real world kind of sucks seem worse than the vampire. This one almost makes you this really does make you nostalgic for the 80s, by the way. Um, okay, enough rambling. Vampire the Masquerade, second edition. Um, very simple, very straightforward. And I even love the very end. It has a little, I think it's called Baptism by Fire. It's the first little module you can do that's set in Gary, Indiana. And it talks about Chicago by night or Chicago. It doesn't really state that it's Chicago by night yet because it hasn't come out yet. But you got Modius, you know, Alicia, and Modius is. I mean, you look at the stats here; it's laughable. He's made for the vampire players to take over in Gary, Indiana. Beautiful book. So I strongly recommend it, and I will be doing some more reviews today. See ya.